नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधागोविन्द गोस्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते प्रभुपादिय देवं गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी ग्राम्या जननिस्तारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। भूतैर्महद्भिः यैमा पुरो विभो निर्मासेते जदमोषु पुरुषा। भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडश षोडशात्मक षोडं कृषिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are in chapter 5, canto 1, listening to the instructions of Narad Muni on Srimad Bhagavatam. So last time we have heard Narad Muni instructed Vyasadeva saying that you are the plenary expansions of the personality of Godhead, therefore you have perfect vision. Although you are birthless, you have appeared on this earth for the well-being of all people. Please, therefore, describe the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, more vividly. So in that way, here Narad Muni stresses on the point of describing Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means that describes about the transcendental glories of the personality of Godhead. So then in text number 22 he says, idam hi punsa tapasas sutasya va sishtasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayo abhichutartham tha kavibhir nirupita jad uttama sloka gunanugarananam. The culmination of tapasaha sutasya, tapasa means austerities, and Suta means Vedic knowledge. swistasya, sacrifices, suktasya, chanting of the Vedic hymns, cha buddhi dattayo, giving charity, and all. They all culminate in describing the transcendental glories of the personality of Godhead. Jaduttama sloka gunanuvarnanam. So when Narad Muni, he instructed Vyasadeva that somebody performs austerity or chants the Vedic mantras, performs sacrifice or gives charity, this should ultimately culminate in describing the glories of the transcendental personality of Godhead. So that means one should not mistakenly conclude from this instruction of Sri Narada Muni that just by performing tapasya, austerity, or by studying Veda or reciting the Vedic mantras, suttas, giving charity, one can attain the Shuddha Bhakti. The act of describing the glories of the personality of Godhead is Shuddha Bhakti, execution called Shuddha Bhakti. So therefore, the next, Narad Muni, he himself now going to speak about the fact that such kind of cultivation of pure devotional service is not arising by performance of austerity, giving charity, or chanting a Vedic mantra, etc. It is purely achieved by the unconditional mercy of a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. That is what is being explained by Sri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur in the commentary to text number 23. He says, Jadrichiki Bhagavad Bhakta Kripa Yeva Shuddhaya Uttama Ukta Lakshanaya Bhakta Hetu. That bhakti which culminates in the transcendental description of the Lord arises from Jadrichiki Bhagavad Bhakta Kripa, by unconditional, spontaneous mercy of a devotee of the Supreme Lord. And to explain this, Narad Muni is going to speak from his own personal life experience. So this is a very important point, that when we preach to people, if we preach according to our level of experience, that becomes more appealing to the audience. So therefore, Narad Muni, now he is going to speak from his personal life experience, how he has personally received this Uttama Bhakti from the devotees of the Lord. Text number 23. Aham puratita bhave bhavam mune dasyastu kasyaschana vedavadinam nirupito balaka eva yoginam sushrusane kavrashinir viviksatam. So once upon a time, he is saying, actually he's speaking about aham pura tita bhave abhavam. Pura means purva kalpe. In the previous day of Brahma, what happened to Narad Muni? He is speaking. In the previous kalpa, Narad Muni was born as a son of a maid servant. And his mother was serving the Bhakti Vedantas, who were living together for 4 months of the Chaturmasya period. 4 months means 2 months Sarat and 2 months rainy season, autumn and rainy season. So total 4 months. So this shows the principle that sadhus, they need to spend some time in cultivating their own personal consciousness. So especially 4 months. So in that way, we know previously in India at least, people used to go to their Guru's ashram during this Chaturmasya time. And if you see Chaitanya Charitamrita from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's past time, you can see on those days, devotees from Bengal, they used to visit Puri, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was residing. So they would stay there for 4 months, and after Rath Yatra, they will continue the Chaturmasya Vrata, and then will return back after completion of the Chaturmasya Vrata. So on those days, people did not have to work in the factories. Okay, everybody was working in the field. So they, having completed their work in the field during the rainy season, they don't have much work to do. So they go to a pilgrimage place, and they spend time in cultivating Krishna consciousness. Anyway, so these Vedavadinam, the Vedantists, they were staying in one place, and the mother of Narad Muni, she was serving as the Dasi. She was serving them, and he was also going with his mother. And when he went, sometimes the sadhus, they would engage him in some service. That is what he's saying. Te mai pita khil chapaler bhake dante drita krina nake nugartini chakru kripam jadyapi tulya darshana Shusrusamane Munayalpavasani. So Narad Muni is speaking about his personal character. He is saying, Te means those Bhakti Vedantas. Mai apeta akhila chapale arvake. I was a small boy, and normally, small children, they are naughty. But Narad Muni is saying, from the childhood, I was very calm and quiet. Even I did not have interest for playing. That's why he's saying, Dante. Dante means he was very controlled. He's a small boy. And Adhrita Kridanake. Adhrita Kridanake means he did not have any desire to play with the dolls. Okay? And Chakru Kripam Jadhyapitulya Darshana. Normally, the sadhus are equal to everybody. So, and these sadhus, they bestowed their mercy upon me. Shusrusamane. Actually, I was also serving them along with my mother. Munay Alpavashni. Alpavashni, Narad Muni said, I would not speak much. He would not speak more than what is required. So from childhood, he was very controlled. He did not have any interest in play, childish play. He would speak as much as required. He was a very calm and quiet boy. And he was engaged in their service along with his mother, and he received the mercy. In commenting to this verse, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, Kripahi Dvidha, Gunamai Nirgunacha. There are two types of mercy. One is called Gunamai and another one is called Nirguna. Gunamai means in this world, people, they, upon seeing the good qualities in someone, they show their mercy. Okay, that is called Gunamai. Kripa. That means if somebody is having some good qualities, then they will show favor to him. Someone who is having bad qualities, they will have hatred towards such a person. They don't give their mercy in the common world. But The second type of mercy, which is called nirguna, even though there is good quality, bad quality, does not matter. It is spontaneous. That is coming from who? This nirguna to nistirna samsaranam tadrisanam parama bhakti mata nirupadhika eva. Means those who have already transcended this material world, who are beyond the modes of this material world, parama bhakti matana, those who are engaged in the devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, those sadhus, their mercy is not dependent on the qualities. Okay, that is nirupadhika. Sarvatra samyen maikam kamapi gunam anapeksha. So their mercy does not depend on any material qualities on the material platform. Just like it is said that sometimes during rainy season, the mountains, they release their pure water. And sometimes they don't. Okay. Similarly, the transcendentalists sometimes give nectar of transcendental knowledge and sometimes do not give. So this is their mercy. This is called Jadrichiki. Jadrichiki means spontaneous. They see somebody, they would give their mercy. So in that way, what happens here? Narad Muni is saying that the different stages of bhakti is described here. There are first 4 stages of bhakti have been described. What is that? First is Satam Kripa, attaining the mercy of the devotees. Then Mahad Seva. After that, service to the devotees. Then Shraddha, faith. And then Guru Padasraya. Okay. So in this connection, very important point to take a note on, that the sadhakas, like we are all sadhakas, when we are engaged in devotional service, if we have a sincere desire to go back to Godhead, and by some good fortune, we have got the mercy of a bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord, then while engaged in practicing sadhana bhakti, we must try to cultivate friendliness and affection. Then our heart will be softened. At that time, the bhakti will become bhava bhakti, which is chittamasranya vidosho bhavamuchyate. So this is what is happening in case of Narada. This is the way to gradually enter into the platform of bhava from sadhana bhakti. So therefore, he is saying that these devotees of the Lord, they shower their blessings upon me, even though I was a small boy. Why did it happen? Because Samadarshi, they are equal to all. Therefore, he is saying, Vachistalepananumodito dvijay Sakrisma kunje tadapasta kilvisha evam pravrittasya visuddha cetasa tadharma evatma ruchi prajayate. So he is giving his personal experience, how he got ruchi unto the execution of the dharma of these devotees, the Bhaktivedantas. Uchishta lepan anumodita dvijay. He is saying, because I was engaged in their service. So after they have finished taking prasadam, sometimes I would take their plate for washing. And then sometimes I would see there will be some food sticking to the plate. But I would not just eat like that. I will first take their permission, Anumodita Dvijay. And then I would take the remnants. Then what happens? Apasta kilvisa. In that way, I became completely freed from the sins. Means by taking the remnants, my sins were completely eradicated. Then what happened? Evam pravrittasya vishuddha chetasaha. In this way, my heart became completely purified. What is happening here? Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur said, Bijahi tai tad artham maya prarthitahi anumoditah dattanugya tenaiva apastani vinastani kilvisani bhakti patibandhaka anartha jasya sa. He's saying, by taking their permission, as I took the remnants, then those which are troublesome in the heart, they create hindrance to the execution of pure devotional service, were eradicated. Tatascha nityam eva bhukta tat uchishtasya. So in this way, as I regularly went on taking their remnants, mama savana kirtana smaranatmika bhakti anayasena eva abhavat ityah. Here it is said, tadharma evatma ruchi prajayate. Tadharma means the dharma, the execution of devotional service undertaken by the sadhus. That is the dharma. And I developed taste for executing their dharma. That means when we take remnants of a Vaishnava, pure devotee of the Lord, that devotee, while he is engaged in the devotional service, I will also automatically get attracted to, or I will get a taste for the execution of the devotional service in his life. That is what it means. And what is that? Savana Kirtana Smaranatmika Bhakti. Then what happened? Evam pravrittasya anyasyapi janasya bhaktanam uchishtam jo bhunte tasya tesam eva dharme savana kirtana da vatmano manasa ruchi prakarshena avasyameva jayate. So this is the conclusion, that when we take the remnants of a sadhu who is engaged in this Shravanam, Kirtanam and Smaranam, Rupa Bhakti, then of course we will also develop the attachment, the taste, ruchi, to execute such kind of bhakti. Evam bhaktadaneshu spriha bhakti anarthapagama tasya nishta ruchi iti panchabhumika anena slokardhena suchita jnana. So in that way, in the next half, that evam pravrittasya vishuddha chetasa sadharma tadharma evatma ruchi prajayate, this speaks about that when we are engaged in the devotional service, in the association of saintly personalities by taking their remnants, then we start having bhadanesu spriha. Means the way they are engaged in devotional service, I will also get the taste for that. Then bhakti. And anarthapagamaha, then our anarthas, the unwanted elements from the heart will be eradicated. Then nishtha, then ruchi, then taste. So in that way, this is the process of coming to the platform of ruchi. Then he says, Tatranmaham Krishna Katha Pragayata. Tatranmaham Krishna Katha Pragayatam. अनुग्रहेण स्नवं मनोहर ता श्रद्धया मेन पदं विशृण्वतः प्रिया श्रवस्यङ्गममा भवद्रुचिः. So he's saying, Tatrannoham Krishna Katha Pragayatam Anugrahena Snavam Manohara. So, in that association and by the mercy of those great Vedantists, I could hear them describe the attractive activities of Lord Krishna, and thus, listening attentively, my taste for hearing of the personality of God has increased at every step. So, two things are happening here. One thing is, as we are associating with the sadhus, and then we take the remnants, then what happens? We develop the attraction for hearing and chanting, and then in their association, as we hear and chant, then we develop more attraction for it. So in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, there was a devotee by the name called Kalidas. Maybe some of you know, this Kalidas was very much attracted, you can say very much desirous to take remnants of different devotees. So in that way, he would sometimes purchase mango and he will give to some devotees and he will wait outside. After they have finished eating, then they will throw the seed and the skin, and Kalidas will go and take those seed and skin from the dustbin and he will start uh, releasing the remnants. So this is how he also became very attracted to execute the Savanam Kirtan Bhakti by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here Nag Muni, of course, by taking their permission, he did that. And he's saying that the way they were engaged in describing the activities past for the Supreme Lord was very pleasing to my mind. Swabha Manohara. Actually, when we develop taste for Shravana and Kirtana, then we can feel that our mind is being very much satisfied in hearing, in listening to such narrations. Okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So in that way, Narad Muni is saying that when we are engaged in the cultivation of bhakti, then we can come to the platform of Bhava. So here Prabhupada is saying, by hearing the narration of the pastimes of the Lord, one contacts directly the personality of Godhead. And as explained before, by hearing about the personality of Godhead from within, all accumulated sins of the mundane creature are cleansed. Simply by hearing about the Lord's pastimes, one can become one of the associates of the Lord. One can attain to the highest perfection of life simply by attentive hearing of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord from the right sources. As Sri Narada heard them from the pure devotees and Bhakti Vedantas in his previous life, this process of hearing is in the association of the devotees is especially recommended in this age of world Kali. So because we are born in this age of Kali, it is very, very important that we dedicate our time in hearing from the lips of the pure devotee of the Lord. Therefore, when one attends Rati Bhava, then what happens? How he realizes? What is his realization? We have not attained the Bhava yet. When one attends Bhava, how does he realize? That is explained in the next verse, 27. Okay. तस्मिन् तदा लब्धरुचेर्महामते प्रिया सर्वस्यात् स्खलिता मतिर्मम याहमेतत् सदसत् स्वमायया पश्ये मयि ब्रह्मणि कल्पितं परे तस्मिन् सदा लब्धरुचेर्महामते. So in that way, in the association of these Bhakti Vedantas, in Narad Muni, he got the taste, then what happens? Priya Savasya Askhalita Matirma. Askhalita Mati means continuous desire for the execution of Shravana and Kirtan. So this is this platform of Bhava. Like in Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami says, Khanti abhyarthakalatvam virakti manasunyata asabandha samutkantha namagane sadaruchi. So these are the symptoms of bhava. Here it said, Khanti abhyarthakalatvam. This is abhyarthakalatvam. Not a single moment is spent without Shravanam and Kirtan. So that's what he's saying. Askhalita matirmam. My mati, my mind, was fully absorbed in the process of hearing and chanting and remembering. What pure social. And as a result of which, what happens? I could realize that I was attracted to my gross and subtle body, which is a product of Lord's Maya. And because of my attachment to this gross and subtle body, I was engaged in the activities for my satisfaction. But then when my mati became fixed in the process of hearing and chanting and meditation on the Supreme Lord, then I could see that this very body, this gross body, is meant for the service of the Supreme Lord. According to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, to bring water for the Lord, to cook for the Lord, to serve in the garden. I knew that now this body has to be used in that way. And then in the subtle body, my mind, my intelligence was engaged in Sukshman, Savana, Nayana, Manana, Buddhyadikam, Tadiya, Guna, Rupa, Madhurya, Swadao, he's saying. That means by my ear, I was engaged in hearing the glories, and for my eyes, I used to see the beautiful form of the Lord, and for my intelligence, I would make all plan how to experience the sweetness of the Lord. So in that way, he's saying that I was always engaged in these type of activities with my subtle and gross body. So in that way, my vision about the Brahman was complete or clear. That means I could understand that the Lord and I are transcendental. That means at that time, a sadhaka, he understands that at least he is qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord. Then, text number 28, Itham Satprabrishikar Ritu Hare वृषन्वत मेनु सवम जशोमलम संकीर्तमानं मुनिभिर महात्मभि भक्ति प्रवृत्तात्म रजस्तमो। Thus, during two seasons, the autumn and rainy season, I had the opportunity to hear these great soul devout sages constantly chant the unadulterated glories of the Lord Hari. As the flow of my devotional service began, the coverings of the modes of passion and ignorance vanquished. So he is saying that this is the process of being freed from the effect of the Rajaguna and Tamaguna, even Saptaguna also. By the grace of the Lord and the great soul devotees of the Lord, a living being becomes fortunate enough to associate with the unadulterated devotees of the Lord and gets a chance to hear the unadulterated glories of the Lord. Certainly, the flow of devotional service takes place like the flow of a river. It reaches the ultimate goal, namely transcendental love of God. So this is the way. So now Narad Muni clearly explained how by associating with the Bhakti Vedantas, he could attain the Bhava. He came to the platform of Bhava Bhakti. So the mercy of the devoted Lord. So in that way, then he says, I was very much attached to those sages. I was gentle in behavior, and all my sins were eradicated in their service. In my heart, I had strong faith in them. I had subjugated the senses, and I was strictly following them with body and mind. And after 4 months was over, while they were departing, they instructed me the most confidential mantra, the instruction they gave me. That's what he's saying in text number 30. Jnanam guhyatamam jattat sakshat bhagavato uditam. Sakshat bhagavato uditam. That instruction which is directly given by the Lord. Where it is given, Guhyatamam Jnana. That is, our Acharya, they have explained that that is given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Annavochan Gamishyanta Kripaya Dinavatsara. They were very kind to poor and meek. I was a small boy, so they became very kind to me. And while leaving, they instructed me on this confidential knowledge. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Jat Uddhavam Brahmanascha Prati Si Bhagavatam Arjunam Prati Si Gita Vidhancha. So, the knowledge that was given by the Supreme Lord to Uddhava and Brahma on Srimad Bhagavatam, and the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita which was given to Arjuna by the Supreme Lord, Gamishyanta Shokyam Rasyan iti Vibhavya Annavocana Padishtavanata. Actually, while living, they instructed me this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And you can say also Srimad Bhagavatam, which was instructed by the Lord to Uddhava, Brahma, and Arjuna. So that is the knowledge I received. So in this way, it is very important for us to know that just by studying Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, one can attain this Guhyam Jnana. Guhyatamam. Jnanam Guhyatamam. So this Guhyatama Jnana is found in Gita and Bhagavatam. So we don't have to search this confidential knowledge elsewhere outside of Gita and Bhagavatam. So the Prabhupada, he comments in this verse, he said, a pure Vedantist or a Bhakti Vedanta instructs followers exactly according to the instructions of the Lord Himself. The personality of Godhead, both in the Bhagavad Gita and in all other scriptures, has definitely instructed man to follow the Lord only. That means when we associate with a pure devotee of the Lord, he is not going to tell something different from what Lord has instructed. Therefore, Prabhupada named his Bhagavad Gita as it is. Means he has not added anything, he has not subtracted anything. So in that way, this knowledge, the most confidential knowledge, was imparted by the Lord to Brahma, Arjuna, and Bhava. Prabhupada is writing the last sentence. So that means knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. So then text number 31. Jenaivaham bhagavato vasudevasya vedhasah mayanubhavam abitam jena gachanti tatpradam. By that confidential knowledge, I could understand clearly the influence of the energy of Lord Sri Krishna. See, Jenaivaham bhagavato vasudevasya vedhasah mayanubhavam avidam. I could understand. And Lord's Maya, by knowing that, one can return to him and personally meet him. So this is the process. When we know Lord's Maya, and we can approach him, the personality of God. So then, it's in Etat Sansuchitam Brahman Tapatraya Chikitsitam Jadishware Bhagavati Karma Brahmani Bhavitam. So here in text number 32 is saying that, O Brahmana Vyasadeva, it is decided by the learned that the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to the service of the Supreme Lord, the Personality of God. So here he is giving a conclusion. The people in this world are very much confused. They do not know the very work they are performing is binding them. And many people who are not devotee of Lord Krishna, they say karma is dharma. Means my activity, my karma is my religion. I don't have to serve the Lord, I don't have to go to temple, I don't have to pray. This is total misconception. If somebody says karma is my dharma, then what kind of karma he should perform so that it is gradually going to free him from the entanglement of this material world? They should know this. Therefore, here he's saying, Jadishware Bhagavati Karma Brahmani Bhavitam. Bhavitam means Samarpitam. So everybody should be engaged in the activities, but the activities should be surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in that way, here when he's saying that the activities should be done as a service to the Supreme Lord, somebody may ask this question, what do you mean? Oh, Nagmuni says, by surrendering the activities to the Supreme Lord, then you become free from the bondage. Now the question is, Nanu samsaro heta karma katham tapatraya nivartakatvam. So we know this karma creates bondage in this world. How can they give release from the moods of this material world? No, they cannot. Therefore, in text number 33 and 34, Nagmuni, he answers. He says, आमयो जश्च भूतानां जायते जेन सुब्रत तदेव ह्यामयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम्. So he is giving a very good prescription. He is saying sometimes by eating a particular food we get disease, and when the same object is taken therapeutically, then it will also cure the disease. For example, if by the intake of ghee we develop the disease in the stomach, then the same ghee, when it is added with some other ingredients, it is taken therapeutically and it will cure the disease. Therefore, the karma which is causing the bondage in this world, when it is done as a service unto the Supreme Lord for His pleasure, then it will not create bondage. This is Narada Muni's instruction. That's why he's saying, Evam Ninam Kriya Yoga Sarve Samsiti Hetavah. This Kriya Yoga, the activities, when we directed to the Supreme Lord, even though this activity, when it is done without dedicating to the Supreme Lord, creates perpetual bondage, but just by surrendering it to the Lord, by doing the activity on behalf of the Supreme Lord, then the bondage is cleared, means we become free from the bondage. So here he is saying that Pare, Pare means Ishware, Kalpita, Arpita, Santa. So when we are surrendering our activity, or we do the activity on behalf of the Lord for His pleasure, then that will free us from the bondage. Atra cha prathamam mahatseva tatascha tat kripa tatah tad dharma shraddha. So here in this text number 34, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, Tatra cha prathamam mahatseva. In the beginning, one should be engaged in the service of a devotee. Then what happens? Tatascha tat kripa. Then he gets the mercy of the devotee. Tatah tad dharma shraddha. Then we get attracted to execute the performances the sadhus are engaged in. Tatah bhagavat katha shravanam. From there, our desire to hear the glories of the Supreme Lord will arise. Tatah bhagavati rati. Then you get attachment. Taya cha dehadyo vivekatmaka jnanam. Then from there we get the knowledge about the gross and subtle body, how the gross and subtle body, because of ignorance, are creating bondage, that we come to know. Tato dridha bhakti, then we become fixed in the execution of bhakti, and tato bhagavat tattva jnanam. After that, by the mercy of the Supreme Lord and His devotee, we get the knowledge about the Supreme Lord, and tatah tat kripaya sarvajnatvadi bhagavat gunavir bhavati. At the end, by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, such a devotee gains the qualities of the Supreme Lord, like sarvajnatva, means he will be all-knowing. So in that way, all these things are happening starting with Mahat Seva. Mahat Sevam Dara Mahaprabhu. Okay? Then he continues saying, in text number 35, Jadatra Priyate Karma Bhagavat Paritoshanam ज्ञानम जत्तद अधीनम ही भक्ति योग समन्वितम. In text number 35, Sri Narad Muni, he explains there are different people in this world. Some people, they give priority to the execution of karma. Some others, they give priority to execution of jnana, or some others, they give priority to execution of bhakti. Now he is saying that one who is engaged in the execution of bhakti mishra karma, that results in bhakti mishra jnana. Okay? So, bhakti mishra karma means bhakti is not predominant factor. Means that person may be engaged in the worship of maybe Durga, Ganesh, Kali, or Indra, you may say. And in course of doing the worship of such demigods, he is maybe doing little bit of bhakti. That's it. But our Acharya's recommendation is we should be doing more bhakti than less karma. So that means our bhakti should be niskama karma jnana mishra pradhani bhuta bhakti, that have been defined by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita. So that therefore it is said jadatra kriyate karma bhagavat paritoshana. When one is engaged in the activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, then that will give rise to the knowledge, jnana. What is that jnana? That jnana is not other than bhakti. Is not that jnana is bhakti actually. Jattat adhinam hi bhakti yoga samanvitam. So that means when we perform our activity with a desire to please the Supreme Lord, that will give rise to bhakti. That's why Prabhupada is speaking the general and popular notion is that by discharging fruitive work in terms of the direction of the scriptures, one becomes perfectly able to acquire transcendental knowledge for spiritual realization. Bhakti yoga is considered by some to be another form of karma, but actually Bhakti yoga is above both karma and jnana. Bhakti yoga is independent of jnana or karma. On the other hand, jnana and karma are dependent on bhakti yoga. That means those who are karmi. For example, we can differentiate between who is a karmi and who is a devotee. Okay. Sometimes we see karmis are also undertaking bhakti, and devotees are also doing bhakti, and also they are also doing some karma. So how to understand who is karmi, who is bhakta? So the karmis are those who undertake bhakti for the attainment of the goal in the execution of karma. Okay. Karmis are undertaking bhakti because they want to get the result in their execution of karma. That is why they are taking bhakti. But a devotee, he is not undertaking bhakti to get the result of his karma. Rather, the devotee's goal is, this is what Lord has said. Lord has spoken in Bhagavad Gita, Jat karosi, Jat asnasi, Jat juhasi dadasi jat, Jat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurusya madarpanam. That means whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you give away, everything you do as an offering to me. That's why in 18th chapter also again he is saying, what he is saying? Sarva karmanyapi sada kurbana mad vyapasraya mad prasadad avapnoti saswata padam abhyayam. This is very important. that sarva karmanya sada kurvana madhyapasraya. This madhyapasraya is a very important word here. When one is engaged in all types of activities, that means while he is engaged in Vaidika, Laukika, even Dahika karma, in all sphere of activities, his goal is the Supreme Lord. Okay? Whereas a karmi, he is doing only Vaidika karma and surrendering the result to the Lord. But whereas a devotee, when he is engaged in Vaidika, Laukika, even Dahika karma, what is his mood? As I said, devotee is not taking up to the process of Savana and Kirtan with a desire, then he should attain success in his karma. No, he is thinking, I am a devotee of Krishna. Krishna wants me to do this. Therefore, for his satisfaction, now I am engaged in doing this. Whereas a karmi is thinking, because I need to get the result of this karma, therefore I need to surrender it to the Lord. Okay? You got the difference very clearly, who is a karmi and who is a devotee. So here our acharyas are saying that at least we should come to a platform where we know that Lord wants us to do this, so let us do it for his pleasure without being attached to the result. Then that will give us better footing in pure devotional service. Okay? Therefore, he is saying, Kurvana jatra karmani bhagavat sikshaya sakrit gunanti gunanamani krishnasyanu smaranti cha. See, this is what he is talking about our devotees. Saying, Kurvana jatra karmani bhagavat sikshaya sakrit. So we know, our devotees know that Prabhupada wants us to do everything for Krishna, for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. In Gita, Krishna is saying, so therefore we are engaged in doing all the activities. Okay? Then Gunhanti Gunanamani Krishnasyana Smrati. So when we are engaged in such karma, simultaneously our devotees are also engaged in Savanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Dasam, Shakyam. This is where our devotees are different from the karmi. In every sphere of life, the Lord should be situated as the proprietor. Okay. Then he's saying, apart from such Vedic duties, means sometimes people are engaged in some demigod worship, some sort of sacrifices and all. So apart from such Vedic duties, even in our ordinary dealings, for example, in our household affairs or in our business or profession, we must consider that the result of all activities must be given over to the Supreme Enjoyer, Lord Krishna. And then Prabhupada describing, he is saying, the major portion of our monetary income, not less than 50%, must be spent to carry out the order of Lord Krishna. Not only should we give the profit of our earning to this cause, but we must also arrange to preach this cult of devotion to others, because that is also one of the orders of the Lord. The Lord definitely says that no one is more dear to him than one who is always engaged in the preaching work of the Lord's name and fame all over the world. In this fallen age of quarrel and dissension, if only the leading and wealthy persons of society agree to spend 50% of their income in the service of the Lord, as it is taught by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is absolute certainty of converting this hell of Pandemonium to the transcendental abode of the Lord. That means Prabhupada is giving a lot of emphasis on to preaching the glories of Sri Chaitanya. So again, in our movement, devotees are not only just engaged in doing some kind of dharma, they are, or you can say in bhakti. No, most of our devotees are engaged in preaching. This is also another symptom, you can say, there's a difference between karmi and bhakti. So in that way, then Narada Muni continues, Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnayan Ruddhaya Namo Sankarsanaya Cha. Let us all chant the glories of Vasudeva along with his plenary expansion Pradyumna, Anuruddha and Sankarsana. So here he is speaking about the way how he was engaged in the worship. After he received the mantra, then he started chanting and meditating on the personality of Godhead in this way. Iti murti vidhanena mantra murtim amurtikam jajate jagya purusham sa samyak darshana puna. So in that way, iti murti vidhanena. Thus, he is the actual seer of the worships in the form of transcendental sound representation, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who has no material form. So, Lord does not have a material form. That's why here he said, mantra murtim amurtikam, mantra murti. He does not have a material form. But by chanting mantra, we can worship him. What is the mantra? He said in the previous verse, Pradyumnayan Ruddhaya Namah Sankarsanaya. So according to Krishna Chakravarti Thakur, Pradyumna is for creation, then Anuruddha for maintenance, and Sankarsana for destruction. Or there are different explanations. In that way, these Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Anuruddha, Pradyumna, they are also the presiding deity of non-buddhi, ahankar and chit. So in that way, they help the sadhaka to gradually approach the Supreme Lord. So in that way, finally, Narada Muni, he says, O Brahmana, thus by the Supreme Lord Krishna, I was endowed first with the transcendental knowledge of the Lord as inculcated in the confidential parts of the Vedas, then with the spiritual opulences, and then with his ultimate loving service. That means by following the orders of a bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord, when one is engaged in the service by properly following the process of Shravana and Kirtanam, he will be given the intelligence by the Lord, by which first he will recognize the opulence of the Supreme Lord, and then he will also attain the loving service unto the personality of Godhead. That will be given to him by the Lord. Therefore, in conclusion, Narada Muni says that Tvamapyadabdha sutavissutam viho samapyate jena vidam bhutsitam rakshahi dukkhair muhurarditatmanam sanklesha nirvana musanti nanyatha. So he's saying tam api Adabhra Shuta. Adabhra Shuta means you have very deep knowledge of the Veda Shastra. Therefore, Vibhu Prakhyahi Vishrutam Prakhyahi. Therefore, you should glorify the activities, the pastimes of the Vibhu Supreme Lord. In that way, Jena Vidam Bhuvutsitam Samapyate. Those who are Jnanis, their quest, their search for the absolute truth will meet with the end. Means when they hear about the glories of the Lord, they will not be very much inclined to go on further doing research. And then also he's saying, Dukkha muhura ditatmanam sanklesa nirvanam ushanti nanyatha. So those who are being tormented in this world, they will also get relief just by hearing. There is no other way to bring an end to their suffering in this world. Therefore, according to Srila Narad Muni, the only and only one medicine to eradicate all sorts of unhappiness in this world is to take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is the only solution to find a shelter. Bhagavatam is the only scripture which can give us peace, prosperity, and shelter at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. As long as we continue to stay in this world, Bhagavatam can give us shelter, and after leaving this body, still Bhagavatam can give us shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Therefore, he is saying that Sri Narada advised Vyasadeva to describe the glories of the Lord just to do good to all 8 classes of men, both good and bad. Srimad Bhagavatam is therefore not meant for any particular class of men or sect. It is for the sincere soul who actually wants his own welfare and peace of mind. So in that way, we have to take shelter on Srimad Bhagavatam. That is how we can be peaceful and satisfied. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, 5th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Narada's Instructions on Srimad Bhagavatam for Vyasadeva. Next class will continue from chapter 6.